Hi, I'm Tim and thanks for watching this video. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to set up Plex in a Docker container on a UGREEN NAS. Now it's not the easiest thing to do, however if you follow along with my video carefully then you should have no problem in getting it set up and running. So we'll hop onto the computer behind me and get started. Now as you can see, what I've done is gone to www.plex.tv. So we're on the plex.tv website, and what we need to do first is, if you haven't already got a Plex account, then you need to sign up for free. So click the sign up for free button, then enter your email address, password, create an account, and then you'll get an email asking you to verify your account. So once you've verified it, you'll be good to go. So that's the first step you need to do. So I've already created an account here, so I don't need to do that again. But what we'll do is click on sign in, and then we'll enter a username and password, or if you're using continue with Google or continue with Apple, then you just click those links there. So as you can see, I've now signed into Plex and I've got my account icon here. And then once you've signed in, you can leave that page open, and then in another tab what you need to do is log into your UGREEN NAS. So as you can see, I've already done that, and we're at the desktop here, or the dashboard, whichever you like to refer to it as. So what we need to do is open up the App Center, and then in the search box what we're going to do is type in Docker, and then you will see we get Docker as already installed. Now you can see here on my desktop that I've already installed Docker, but what you need to do is install Docker. So just click it to install it, and then it should appear on your dashboard or desktop here. So once you've done that, we then need to close the App Center window, and then what we're going to do is open up Files. So click on Files, and you'll see we get a Docker folder which gets created when you install the Docker application. Now what we're going to do is create some additional folders where we're going to store all of our media. So to do this, we're going to create shared folders. So make sure you're in the shared folder tab, click the plus button, and then create a new shared folder. Now just to make sure that you should be logged in as the administrator, so make sure you're logged in as the initial or the first administrator account that you created when you first set up your UGREEN NAS. So make sure that you're logged in as that first. Click on create a new shared folder. Then in the folder name, we're going to call this Plex. So we'll give it all lowercase characters, and we'll save it to whichever volume you want. In this case, I'm using volume 1. And then with the recycle bin option, you can just disable that if you want to, or you can just leave it enabled. I don't use recycle bin, so I'm unticking it. So once we've given the folder name of Plex, we'll click on create, and then it brings up the folder permissions. Now you'll see by default that the administrator group, which are grayed out here, already have read and write access granted. Now if you want to allow others to get access to these folders, then just tick the relevant username box or the user group. I would just recommend leaving it as administrators. So once you've done the selection of the permissions, click OK. Then what we're going to do is go into the Plex folder. So click on the Plex folder twice, and it should take you into the shared folder Plex. So now what we're going to do is create some other folders in this Plex folder. So click Add, Create New Folder, and then the first folder what we're going to create is going to be called Config. So give it a name of Config, and it's all lowercase characters. So all of these folders that we're creating all have lowercase characters. So click Confirm, and then that's created our Config folder. So then we're going to create another one. So click plus, create a new folder, and this time we're calling it Data. Click Confirm, click plus, create a new folder, and the next one is called Movies. So enter the name of Movies, click Confirm, click plus, create a new folder, and then we're going to create Music. Then after Music, we're going to click plus, create a new folder, and this time call this Pictures. Click Confirm, and then the next one after Pictures we're going to click plus, create a new folder, and this time call this transcode, TRANSCODE. Click confirm, and then click plus, and create a new folder. And then this last folder that we're creating is going to be called TV shows. Now again, as with the other folders, it's all lowercase and there's no spaces, so TV shows is just all one word without spaces. Click confirm, and that completes the creation of all of our folders. So we should have config, data, movies, music, pictures, transcode, and TV shows. So you should have 7 folders within the Plex folder. Then once you've done that, you can close the files window, clicking X. Then what we're going to do is open up Docker. So click on Docker. This will bring up the Docker status window. Now as you can see, we've got no Docker containers in there. We've just got CPU usage, memory capacity, and so on. So what we're going to do first is click on Image at the left hand side here. This will then bring up the image database with all the Docker images that are available. So what we're going to do in the search box is type in Plex, press enter. So then you'll see we get various results for our search of Plex. So the top one is Linux server /Plex. So this is the one that you need to select. So what we're going to do is download it. So we don't need to click on Linux server Plex, but just click the arrow down button to download it. Then it will ask you for the version number. Just leave that blank and just click confirm. And then it will say the current image version is being downloaded. So if we click on the local tab here, you'll see that Plex Linux server Plex is now showing up in local, which means that it's downloaded it. So that's downloaded our Plex image. So now we're going to create the container. So to do this, we need to click on Container, then select the New Container button. Then in the Please Select option, we're going to click in there and select Linux Server /Plex and then in brackets latest. Click Confirm. Then in the container name, you can change this if you so wish. So you can change it from Linux Server _Plex -1. I would just call it, say, Plex 1 or something similar to that. If you want to just call it Plex, then you can do. Then in the CPU limit box, you'll see we've got unlimited in there. Now what you can do is limit the CPU usage to so many cores on your UGREEN NAS. So I would recommend, say, using half. So limit it to half. It all depends actually on how many Docker containers you have on your system. So obviously you want to give it enough resources to be able to run properly, but not too much that it bogs down and slows down your UGREEN NAS overall. So you can see we've got 6 cores as the maximum. Let's change it to 3 cores, so half. And then with the memory limit, you'll see it's got unlimited. So let's select custom. So you can see the maximum is 7712, so we'll put in 3856. Then with the auto restart option, I would recommend enabling that so that if ever the machine gets powered off or it shuts itself down for some reason, then the Docker container with your Plex server will automatically restart itself once your UGREEN NAS powers back on again. Then we're going to scroll down and you'll see we've got environment variables in there. So scroll down to the bottom of that section and you'll then see we've got an option for volume, which is here. So you'll see in there we've got some entries. So we've got NAS directory file, and that's automatic distribution in there. Container directory file, we've got config, and container permissions, we've got read and write. So what we're going to do is in the NAS directory file, we're going to click in that box. We're going to go into Plex. So in the file selection window that pops up, click on Plex, and then we're going to select config and then click confirm. And then it's showing us now that we've got NAS directory file of shared folder Plex config. Container directory file is showing as /config, and we've got read and write. So now what we're going to do is add the remaining folders in there. So these are going to be the same folders that we created in our file system. So if you recall, we created Plex and then all these subfolders here. So what we're going to do is replicate the names of these folders in our Docker setup. So close the files window, and then back in the Docker setup screen here, we're going to click Add. Then we're going to select Plex and then Data. Click Confirm. So here you now see that we've got shared folder /Plex/data. So in the container directory file for the data line here, we're going to select and type in /data. Then we're going to select the container permissions box and set this to read and write. Then we're going to click Add again. Click in the automatic distribution box. Select your Plex folder. Then we're going to select Movies. Click Confirm. And then in the container directory /file line for Plex Movies, we're going to type in /movies. Set the container permission to read and write. Click Add again. Click in automatic distribution. Select Plex. This time select Music. Confirm. Then enter /music. Set read and write permissions to read and write. Click Add. Click in automatic distribution. Select Plex. This time select Pictures. Click Confirm. Then in the container directory file box, so enter /pictures. Set the read and write to read and write permission. Click Add. Select automatic distribution. Go into Plex again. Select transcode. Click Confirm. In the box, enter /transcode. Set read and write permissions to read and write. Scroll down a little. Click the Add. Click in the box. Select Plex. Select TV shows. Click Confirm. Then we're going to enter /TV shows. Set the read and write permissions to read and write. And there we should have now 7 entries in the volume section here. So for under NAS directory file, we should have shared folder Plex config, the same for data, same for movies, music, pictures, transcode, TV shows. So there should be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then in the container directory file, we should have /config, /data, /movies, /music, /pictures, /transcode, /TV shows, and then in the container permissions, they should all be set to read and write. So all 7 should be set to read and write. Scroll down. Under network configuration, you should see a section for port mapping. Now if you scroll down, you should see 32400. Now next to 32400, so it's under the container port section here, you will see a port for 32400 with TCP against it for the port type, and then you should see a port number. Now in this case it's 44367. So with that 44367, so the same line as 32400, we're going to change this port to match 32400. So change it and type over 32400. So for all of the other entries, you should have different ports next to each one. But for 32400, you should have 32400 in both of those boxes in that line. So once you've done that, you can scroll back up to the top, and we're in the section now where it says environment variables. So at the bottom of the environment variables box, we're going to go to the group ID. So underneath the group ID, you'll see we've got add. So we're going to click add, and then in the please enter variable box, we're going to type in all capital letters, Plex, then underscore, then claim. So you should have Plex, so PLEX underscore claim, CLAIM, and then in the please enter value box, we're going to click in there, and then we're going to go back to the other tab where we are logged in to our Plex on the website. So as you can see, I've logged into Plex already, which you should have done. So make sure you've kept that tab open, and we're going to go to the address bar and we're going to type in plex.tv/ and then claim, or www.plex.tv/claim. Whichever link you like to use, you can use both of those. So once you've typed in that link in the address bar at the top here, and you'll see that a claim code box pops up. So what we need to do is highlight this claim code, copy it, and then go to our other tab with our NAS, and then in the Plex claim where it says please enter value, we're going to paste in that claim code. As you can see, I've just done. Then what we're going to do is click on confirm, and then you'll get a box. Do you want to create container? Run container after creation is ticked, and then what you need to do is click on confirm. You will then see that Plex has now appeared, and you'll see we've got some CPU usage and RAM usage. So that means that Plex is now running on your UGREEN NAS. So what we need to do now is open up a new tab, and then we're going to type in the IP address, so http:// and then we're going to type in the IP address of your UGREEN NAS, and then you need to enter a colon, and then you need to enter the port number for your Docker container, which is for Plex, and that is 32400. So once you've done that, enter, and you should then be taken to your Plex screen where you've got the Plex web. Would you like to sign in? So all you need to do is click sign in, and then once you've signed in, you'll be taken to how Plex works screen. So this is the initial setup for Plex. So what you need to do is just click on got it, and then you'll get a message about upgrading. But for the time being, for this video, I'll just click X on this box. And then what we're going to do is set up the server. So we need to give our server a friendly name to help identify it. So we'll remove these characters in there, and we'll just give it a server name of Plex1. And then there's a box you'll see for allow me to access my media outside my home. Plex will attempt to automatically configure your network to allow Plex apps outside your home to access Plex media server on this computer. But if you want to do this to allow access outside your home, you may need to configure, for example, port forwarding and firewall rules to enable you to access this from outside of your home network. So we'll just untick this for the time being, select next, and now it's asking us to add our media library. So all we need to do is click add library, then select the type. So in this case for films, then we'll call it films, or you could actually change it to movies. So let's call it movies, click next. And then what we're going to do is select the folder where our media is stored. So click browse for media folder. Then you'll see it's bringing up folders on your UGREEN NAS. So you'll see we've already got transcode, TV shows, and so on. So we'll select the movies folder, click add, select add library, and then we'll go to add library again, add TV programs, click next, browse for media, and then we'll select our TV shows folder here. Click add, and then add library, and then add the next library, music, next, browse for media, select our music folder that we created earlier on our NAS in the first steps, click add library, then we'll add the next library and select photos, and we'll rename this to pictures, for example. So once you've called it pictures, click next, select browse for media, select your pictures folder, click add, and then add library. So you should have movies, TV programs, music, and pictures. So once you've done that, you can then click next, and then you can click on done. And this will then take you in to your Plex, where you've got, you see, TV episodes and so on. And we've also got the folders. So we've got TV programs added, music, pictures. Of course, these are all empty at the moment. So to add the media, all you would need to do is go back to the UGREEN NAS tab, open up files, and then, for example, go into your folder where your media is stored, and then all you need to do is either copy and paste it So go into the Plex folder and copy and paste it into the relevant music, movies, pictures and TV shows folders that we created earlier. So you can either move them into there or you can actually just copy them into there, whichever you choose. So once you've done that, if we go back to the Plex, you'll see that then your media gets synced and it will then appear in these folders at the left hand side. So once you've done that, you will then see pictures, music, TV programs and movies in those folders. So once you've copied them in there, they will then should appear in there automatically. But of course you can just go on live TV, for example, and start watching streaming media on Plex. So that's how easy it is to set up Plex on your UGREEN NAS. Just one thing to remember, you can go back to your NAS, you can then close the Docker window, and then you can log out of your UGREEN NAS, as Plex will just keep running in the background there on your UGREEN NAS. So hope you've found this video useful, hope you found it easy to follow. Thanks for watching this video and I'll be back again soon with more videos. So take care, look after yourselves, bye for now.